After a year of riding my 2024 Beta Cross Trainer with the stock suspension, I finally decided to try a suspension upgrade. I went with the cheapest fork kit and rear valve kit for the shock as possible. DFX had a lot of positive reviews, and if you do your own installation, it's a great budget option for most riders. The rear shock valve kit is only $269 Australian dollars. The rear bladder for the rear shock was $169 Australian dollars, and the fork valve kit was $479 Australian dollars. A total of $920 with free postage, or about $625 US dollars, including international shipping. Let's do a quick price comparison. The front forks. The next option is the MXT fork cartridge kit at more than twice the price. Next is the Lucky fork kit, and finally the Andriani fork cartridge kit. For the rear shock, there aren't many options, just K-Tech US $239 and Race Tech at US $199, and neither offer the bladder upgrade. Personally, I simply don't think it's worth spending too much on Beta Cross Trainer suspension. The Cross Trainer is lighter and cheaper than other enduro models for a reason. It has cheap suspension from R16V, a Spanish company with a long history of making lightweight trial suspension. The DFX valving makes a big difference, but if you're expecting it to behave just like KYB, SARX or WP suspension that has been correctly set up, you won't quite match it. So it's important to establish a baseline. What is the stock Cross Trainer suspension like? Up to 2021, the damping was incredibly soft. This was great for slow, gnarly terrain if you weight and de-weight the motorbike a lot. But things could get crazy if you tried to ride fast over rough terrain. In 2020, the Beta Cross Trainer kept the soft springs but made the valving firmer. I certainly noticed the difference on my 2024 Cross Trainer, but it still wasn't great, at least not for experienced riders over 80 kilos or 175 pounds. I upgraded the front and rear springs to suit my 90 kilograms weight. There was some improvement, but not as much as expected. We knew the key would be to get the correct compression and rebound damping. So let's see how well the DFX suspension upgrade works. We had 3 riders who rode the Cross Trainer over this series of jumps. The Cross Trainer definitely absorbed the big impacts a lot better. It wasn't bottoming the suspension with a thud. Initially it still felt a bit soft, but we gradually ramped up the compression damping and it handled the jumps well. For a comparison, here is our 2026 Husqvarna TE300 on the same jumps. Our group loves that WP Exact suspension, and we now consider this our benchmark. It's hard to see much difference in the video. When riding both bikes, the Husqvarna did feel smoother, but as we stated earlier, we never expected the Cross Trainer suspension to quite match the heavier, more expensive setups. Intermediate sized bumps definitely improved. The stock Cross Trainer tends to bounce and spring back too much, and the increased rebound damping definitely helped here. One thing we found interesting was the adjustment of the rear shock's rebound was not very noticeable. But then there was a large jump from the second last click to the maximum setting. We will test this further, but I suspect on any fast aggressive rides we will have the shock at maximum rebound damping, then just 1 click less for all our other rides. What about small impacts? The DFX fork kit did seem to lose a bit of the original plush feel that we liked, but I think this will be very subjective. Hard enduro riders tend to like that plush feel for weighting and de-weighting the bike in slow, gnarly terrain. Look, it certainly doesn't feel harsh, and if you look closely at our video comparison, the Cross Trainer forks seem to be responding in a similar way to the Husqvarna, even though we could feel the difference when swapping bikes. We will keep experimenting. See the pinned first comment for updates. The big question, who could benefit from this DFX suspension upgrade? I suspect it will be the majority of owners. If you have a 2019 or earlier model with that incredibly soft suspension, I think almost everyone would appreciate the difference. 2020 and later cross trainers? If you weigh less than 80 kilos or 175 pounds and you are a beginner dirt rider, you may find the stock suspension is okay. Ditto if you only ride in slow, rough terrain or you permanently ride in cruise mode and never ride aggressively. But for everyone else, I think this suspension upgrade will really pay dividends when you start to push the bike hard and at speed. I can't count the times I've run off the track in the past year when the suspension went crazy over a series of whoops or tree roots. And of course, if you are over 80 kilos or 175 pounds, you should seriously consider heavier springs too. Remember, the Cross Trainer only has one spring in the forks, so it will be cheaper than you think. And finally, don't expect too much from upgrading your suspension. The only way to truly match top quality enduro suspension is to adapt a pair of KYB forks on the front and adapt a WP shock for the rear. There are forum posts about how to do this if you like a good project. So, suspension is a very subjective topic. We are keen to hear what you have tried on your Cross Trainer. Has it worked for you? Let us know in the comments.